welcome to Redacted Life, a horror visual novel of sorts, about a fellow who finds himself in a horror-filled visual novel. I don't really know all that much about this besides that. So let's give this a go, shall we? I first realized I was a character in a video game about 3 weeks ago. At first I noticed little things, glitches, things blinking in and out of existence. Then I tried to remember things like how I met my girlfriend, Rebecca, where I was born, or either of my parents' names. I couldn't remember. Could only remember as far back as a month ago. It was a hard 3 weeks. The worst part was that when I tried to explain all this to Rebecca, it was like she wouldn't listen to me. Like she couldn't hear me. I guess the game's programming could only stretch so far. Eventually I decided to just let things happen and see how things would unfold. I mean, after all, despite how existential crisis-inducing finding out your life's a game was, my life was a pretty good life. Might as well enjoy it, right? Then Rebecca, decided we should move out. Finding an affordable home to rent, it was too large a place to own all by ourselves. We packed our things from our city apartment and drove to the countryside. Always a good start. We're here. We stepped out of a car. Oh! There it is, Adrien. The house is over there, at the end of the road. I looked at the mansion in the distance. Come on, Sheska. I opened the back door of the car to let Sheska out. Oh! Sheska was our dog, by the way. Bork, bork. However, as soon as she got out of the car, Sheska started growling. Well, that's a bad sign. Rebecca turned to Sheska. Aw, what's the matter, girl? Oh, we only get one. Okay. Well, let's just go with the flow for now. I held my tongue, but still, that can't be good. What could spook her like this? Never mind, let's go inside. I looked around. I could see from here that there was a study room that led to a massive grand ballroom. It was the kind of grand ballroom that I could imagine also doubling as a final boss arena. Very unusual furniture. I stared at a weird painting of what I interpreted as 2 horses. The frame it was in looked like it had 4 sets of claws trying to rip the artwork open. That is true. I see the 2 horses. Very unusual. I prefer to call it rustic charm. I love how old-timey this place looks. What? Scared? No. Well, I don't think someone's gonna jump out and shout, "A boogie woogie woo!" But I still feel a huge amount of unease. Don't worry, I'll protect you from anything in this household. Oh, Rebecca, are you alright? You're not looking so good. Rebecca started glitching out again. It happened from time to time. It was the first thing that made me realize I was in a game. It used to freak me out, but now the novelty's worn off. Or the shock's worn off, whatever you want to call it. It seemed like me acting out of character causes this. It's like Rebecca can't figure out how to react to me. Adrien, Earth to Adrien. I stamped out of it. Ah, yeah, Rebecca? I said I'll protect you. Sure. Now I know what you may be thinking. If we were moving into this house, why were we acting like we'd never set foot in this house before? Apparently, this is a world where you pay an estate agent a lot of money and just hope for the best. That is, yeah. Makes me think of the Darkseid, good old Mike Dawson, who just got his big horror house for one person, and yeah, cool. You just cross your fingers and wish really hard, and then they magically Find a beautiful house that you can afford to lodge in. We're leaving this crazy house. What? A young couple came lumbering down the stairs. They were each carrying a suitcase. I've had it. I can stand for a lot of things, but not this. And with that, the couple left. Oh, that's ominous. My. Oh. A person whose gender was unclear to me approached us. They were wrapped up in several layers of winter clothing, despite the fact that it wasn't winter. It seems another family has left us, with another to replace them. It's like a revolving door around here. Turley? Is that your name? Hello, my name's Turley. How are you? Their voice was also ambiguous, and not just in terms of gender. The voice sounded young and ancient, childish and wise, all at the same time. I'm Rebecca, and this is Adrien. Why were those people leaving? They're scared of the spirit who dwells in this household. It's a terrible story, one fraught with tragedy. I guess the only way you could really get a house this big on a young couple's budget is by getting a house with an evil spirit in it. It's just, yeah. Would you like to hear it? I imagine the market price of evil spirit houses are quite low. I told him that no, we wouldn't. And Tyrlee began. Of course. The sweater-layered character told Rebecca and me pretty full and complete information about the mansion. They told us about how the structure was originally commissioned in the 1800s, and about the original owners of the mansion. Miro and Clara were a couple who'd recently married before moving into their new home. Miro first met Clara when she became his assistant for his magic act. This eventually led them to falling in love with each other. See the amazing Miro, the magician. Now we're in Phantasmagoria. Miro the magician, as he was called, was an illusionist. He was also rumored to have dabbled in two dubious things: adultery and the dark arts. Truly a fearsome combination. Though neither was ever proven publicly, he was apparently successful enough as a magician to afford the mansion. Continued performing with Clara for many years until... Because there's always an until with these stories. Yeah, absolutely. Until, for some reason, my mind kept wandering. I did my best to stay focused on Tyrlee's cliched story. That really was an awful picture frame. So what happened to the magician and his wife? They disappeared. I sighed. No one seemed to notice. Really? The magician disappeared? How ironic. Very cute. And I just compliment how much his facial expressions matching the mood of his inner monologue. They completely vanished. Snark. I only get one. Should I save again? Why not? Let's be serious. Were they ever found? Eventually, Miro was found dead in the basement of this very mansion. His body was covered with long, deep slash marks, like he'd been scratched to pieces by some sort of long-fingered animal. But his wife was never found. I think Clara knew that her husband had been cheating on her. Maybe when she found out, she confronted him with it. Maybe Miro kept a book filled with black magic, and that had something to do with it. But I think something very dark happened on the night they disappeared. And I believe that Clara's ghost still haunts this place to this day. Would explain all the strange things in this place. Eerie noises. Furniture rearranging itself after you leave the room. Then Tyrlee suddenly stopped to hear a history lecture. Do you believe in ghosts? I've never really seriously thought about it before, but no. I don't believe in ghosts. Sorry. That's why I got this house. It's fine. No need to apologize to me. What about your beau? What does he think? I don't know. huh? Yeah, this is a fair question. Sure. No, I don't want to delete my save. Why are you telling us this? Why are you telling us all this? Won't that make us more likely to be the next couple to move out? Was this person trying to convince us to leave? I just thought it was interesting and important for you to know this household's backstory. Who are you? Are you a caretaker or something? It fascinates me. It's actually the reason why I moved in here in the first place. You live here? We bought this place? But why are you standing? Why are you staying here if you believe there's a ghost? I've made this an occupation of mine. In the past, I've proven to have a knack for solving ghosts' problems and helping them find peace. Which means I'm going to die, probably, if this story is anything like most Haunted Mansion ghost stories. You're a ghost hunter? Not a hunter, my dear. I prefer to think of myself as a ghost whisperer. Ooh. Are there really enough ghosts in the world for you to do that? Well, you'd be surprised. But I also provide other services to people, living people, like Wiccan charms and divinations. I'll give your girlfriend a tarot reading if you like, free of charge. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I've never had a tarot card reading before. Oh boy. After clearing a space on one of the tables, Tilly got Rebecca to shuffle the tarot deck. I looked at a bouquet of freshly cut flowers nearby. They were white lilies, because of course they would have been white lilies. The funeral flower, a symbol of death. Of course the game designer couldn't resist that. Taking the cards from her, Tilly took the top 5 cards off the deck, placing them face down in a formation on the table. Ahem. This tarot card reading will be an interpretation of your future. They, meaning Tilly, not Rebecca and Tilly, slowly flipped over each card, revealing their illustrations. Ooh. You're not going to say they sense danger or anything cliche like that, are they? What's wrong, Tilly? This looks bad. Tell me, I want to know. Well, it's all up to interpretation, but... Oh, the Fool. Tilly pointed to the center card. This card represents the Fool. That's you. I try not to smirk at their bad phrasing. Nope, absolutely no room for interpretation there. Luckily, Rebecca didn't seem to notice. The card in the center represents the person this is going to happen to. And the Fool is usually a person who is both curious and lucky. Rebecca put her arm around mine and squeezed it. I'm lucky. Well, I'm certainly lucky to have Adrien. Aww. Yeah, and I you. No matter what I may say about Rebecca, I really do care about her. That's what makes this feeling in the back of my mind worse. This card below represents a person who will be involved. This represents determination and endurance. So, a determined person? Exactly. Someone who will keep going, even in the face of adversity. This is such a beautiful card. It's Mount Lion. A whole bunch of lions. Thank you. This is a custom deck. I had it made especially for me. In my opinion, any tarot reader worth their weight in salt should get a custom tarot deck. Now, let's see. The Empress. The card at the top represents another person involved. Specifically a woman, since this is the Empress card. Would that be me? Am I the woman? Since this is a tarot reading of you, I'd actually interpret that woman as Clara, the magician's wife. I'm sure her ghost is here, and as long as you're in this house, you and her will be connected. The Tower. The leftmost card represents a past event, naturally the dark arts that, The Tower is associated with sudden, disruptive, and potentially destructive change. It can also mean liberation and the gaining of freedom. But in terms of destructive change happening in the past, I'd define it as Clara's past. Oh, of course. That's a really cool death picture, though. Well, that can't be good. That can't be good. Oh, death is often a misunderstood symbol. Doesn't necessarily mean a literal death. It can mean the death of an old way of life and the beginning of a new one. In other words, it could be a change as simple as adopting a dog or moving to a spooky mansion. Right. So to sum it all up, I believe there's going to be strange changes coming soon in your life. Something to do with this mansion's dark past. You'd best be careful. I mean, I know you've said that you don't believe in ghosts. You may think that this is a load of hogwash. No, this was really interesting. Thank you. You're welcome. Interesting? Really? Well, I'd better be going. That's all I have left to say. I'll see you later. With that, Turley left. Rebecca turned to me. So, what now? Well, we still have a lot of unpacking to do, but I kind of want to do a bit of exploring first. Why don't we leave the rest of the luggage till later? It's only 2 suitcases. Look, I can do it myself. You can explore the house, and I'll catch up with you later. Okay. Well, it's official. I'm trapped in a horror game. A badly written horror game. Never mind, I'll just go and get the luggage, shall I? Is this an adventure game? Because that sounded like a lousy first quest. Pulled out the 2 improbably sized suitcases. I called them that because this was all that we packed. There was no moving van. There's traveling light, and then there's this. Our whole previous life was the contents of these 2 cases. With a heave, I lifted them up to carry them back to the mansion. After about 5 years or so, I eventually finished my trek up the front path and made it back to the house. I'll go put the luggage upstairs. No. Right in front of me was a ghost that looked like the woman from Miro's Magic Act poster, Clara. Oh. What do you want? Let's play along. It wouldn't answer. Ah! Adrien! Ah! What's wrong, Adrien? After I finished restarting my heart, I answered her. I saw the ghost. It was the ghost of a woman. I think she was the magician's wife. She relaxed and gave me a pitying look. Didn't you see it? Oh, Adrien, you probably just thought you saw something. I mean, this drafty house. Yeah, drafty. Sure. Oh, you're right, Rebecca. Drafts do get my imagination aflutter. Now, that's everything. I'm going to go back to exploring the ground floor. Okay? Yeah. Just be careful, alright? I will. Just my luck. Just as Rebecca comes, the ghost vanishes. Before, I had wondered if the ghost was going to be real or someone in a mask. Either way, it would have been dangerous, but after that adventure, I knew that the ghost was real. I had a feeling that Rebecca was safe from the ghost. Well, as safe as she could be. What I mean is, I was trying to imagine this as a game written by someone else. I thought back to horror films, and generally speaking, the young woman who had a boyfriend was usually safe. Their boyfriend, on the other hand, continued upstairs. Well, this wasn't our bedroom. I had accidentally stepped into the attic. Okay. Dust-covered toys filled the room. Toys? Did Clara and Miro have children? Turley didn't mention that. Were they planning on having children, perhaps? Did something happen? Ah! Rebecca! Oh. I found Rebecca on the ground. I rushed to her aid and helped her up. What happened? There! She pointed to the wall. Get out! The letters were in all caps, and it appeared that the author tried their best to try and transcribe their own screaming. It was written in blood and looked like it was going to be hell to scrub out. It said, get out. But by now it really should have said, get out, you idiot. Did you see it run past you? Did you see what happened? I heard you scream and I rushed over. No one passed me. How could you miss it? I saw it. I saw the ghost. Do we be mean to our girlfriend? Okay, let's just be quiet. Sometimes it's best to say nothing at all. You were right, Adrien. I'd prefer it if I wasn't. Terry said they plan on doing a seance. Seance? You know, the thing in movies where a group of people gather around to try and contact ghosts? I know what a seance is. What? We're just gonna forget about the malevolent ghost in the mansion? Terry says it'll be fun. Yeah, talking to dead malevolent ghosts. Always fun. A real hoot. Yep, I guess we were. Rebecca, don't you think we should just leave? It's not safe here. What? But this is our home now. Oh, glitching out? Means that we made a bad suggestion? Fine, I'll see you later. We're in a horror game, so thoughts of leaving the horror game before the horror happens are going against the programming of the game, I suppose. Trying to convince her to go wasn't going to work. I realized that. This was all just a game, after all. Not even one of the good ones. Wait, what's this? Behind a section of ripped wallpaper and worn wooden wall paneling, there was a marble tile, and it clearly didn't belong there. I pressed down on the tile, and a nearby wall opened up, revealing a pitch-black corridor. My goodness, you found a secret passageway. I thought you left. Really? You're surprised? In this house? Rebecca and I are going to perform a seance in the vestibule. Would you care to join us? Yeah, Rebecca told me already. And I'll pass. Also, are you sure it's wise to do a seance when there's a ghost that wants everyone to leave? There won't be any way to give the ghost true peace unless we can find a way of communicating with her. I hope you change your mind, though. The more people, the more power. I'll be in the vestibule if you want to join in. Enough was enough. No more letting things unfold. If I was in a horror game, at least I could choose how the story ends. I had two choices, win the game or find a way out of the game. The problem was, I had no idea how to go about doing either. Where should I start? Well, now this is a place to save. This is going to be our save. I vote for exploring the secret passageway. I was feeling in a cautious mood, so I of course decided to explore the damp, dingy tunnel. Wine cellar? I walked down the dark, creepy stairs. I reached the basement, which turned out to be a cellar. The secret cellar. Barrels filled with wine lined all over the room. At least I think it was wine. But with how the rest of this mansion was designed, there were probably 7 or 8 barrels that probably opened up a seat to a secret passage. I took another look around then and noticed something else. Oh, a suit of armor. It was an old suit of armor on a wooden stand. How did I miss it? Was it there before? Anyone in there? Thank God. It started to glitch. I was strangely drawn to it, like a moth to a flame. I mean, it wasn't just an attraction to it. I mean, I love medieval things, but this feeling was more like this suit of armor was different from everything else in this world. Like it didn't belong here, like me. I touched it and... What? Connection to host Adrien. Searching for new host. Host Hana found. Reconnecting to new host. Please wait. What?